So good afternoon, Lauren.
Hello.
After a year with Kasalmaca, you're back in Turkey.
Yes.
How did you decide to come back here?
Yeah, for me, it was kind of thinking about my future and figuring out, okay, going into 2024 Olympics, how can I put myself in a great position to be healthy and be happy in order to perform the best I can? Well, I've had great experiences in Italy and in Turkey, and 1 year in Russia. I just prefer Turkey in general, also for personal reasons as well. My boyfriend is here. And so just being able to kind of find that balance, I wanted to be somewhere where that balance was good and I was happy. Just my day-to-day life was great. So ultimately decided my last year professionally, overseas at least, would be in Turkey, and so far so good.
And do you get to watch your boyfriend's matches, or does he comes to your matches as well?
Yeah, so far we're the ones playing before him. So my off days are usually his game days. So it's been great just to be able to go up there and spend some time and have that, just that really nice work-life balance and a normal relationship where we can go to dinner and hang out and not see each other just once every 2 months or something like this. So it's been so awesome so far.
Sounds better. We know that you had more than one offer on the table during transfer window. How did you pick Aydın?
For me, like I said, I wanted to be in Turkey, so that kind of narrowed the teams in the first place. We were waiting for some specific teams that didn't end up happening, but for me, Aydın was a great option because Alper is awesome. He worked with Giovanni for a very long time. I've had national team girls who worked with him in the past and who said he was just an incredible coach. I've learned that already. He's been awesome and understanding, and we really work well together. So I've enjoyed that. And also just the proximity of my boyfriend and living in this league in Izmir. And again, just having this really nice work-life balance. I also know Özge from my time at Turkish Airlines. So there's a few girls who I had these connections with as well. And it's been so fun and kind of finding that groove and that rhythm.
As you know, it's an Olympic season and there's lots of competition for the Team USA jersey.
Yes.
How do you think about it? What is your dream for this summer?
For sure. My dream has always been to be an Olympian, right? And that didn't happen in Tokyo, and it was so hard and disappointing to work through. But I'm kind of at this space now where what can I do in my power to make it happen and to become an Olympian? Another reason for choosing Aydın was it was a great balance of not putting that much stress on my body and playing 2-3 matches in a week like you would with a Champions League team, etc. And so for me, it's about being in a great physical health, keeping my volleyball really high, but also filling up all these other buckets in my life, the personal side of things, and kind of being prepared to transition to the next side. Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at, I'm content, and just really hungry to keep getting better and keep working, because ultimately there are no guarantees for the national team and for the Olympic team.
And I'd like to talk about something more in detail about your skills on the field.
Yeah.
Some people would say you're as talented as a libero in terms of defense and reception. How do you do it? Like, did you develop it when you were young?
Yeah, I think the defense came. I was a libero when I was really young. The club I trained for, I was there for 11 years when I was a child, and just learning every single day, we wanted to train like the Japanese. And so the Japanese, as you know, are extremely good at defense, and I think that's where kind of my love of the defense came from.
You picked it up there?
And yeah, I just was like, I'm keeping this. And if I was not a setter today, for sure I would be a libero, just because it's so fun kind of ruining attackers' days and not letting balls hit the floor. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in the backcourt and defensively to know that people, if they're going to score against me, it will not be easy. Or if they do it, it will be once or twice and finish.
And in Aydın, you have 2 setters that are younger than you.
Yep.
Do you like the teaching side of volleyball as well? Because, as you know, Bartsch took the coaching role in the States right now. Do you consider such roles in the future?
I've thought about it, and right now I actually really like the role I'm in, not only with the other setters on the team, but with the team in general. Being one of the more experienced players, I actually like this role of leading, but also trying to teach at the same time. It's just been, it's been a fun challenge and a fun experience, because I never thought of coaching before until maybe 1 or 2 years ago, when my university coach started talking to me about it and saying, oh, maybe you can coach one day. Like, you have the mind for it, you have the skills for it. So it's definitely something that I've been thinking about. I want to continue to play for as long as I can, but that is definitely kind of in the back of my mind, and it's a good starting point now. And just, yeah, being able to teach not only with my words, but just by my actions and letting them kind of watch how I do things.
Speaking of Bartschy, you had one of your most unforgettable moments in Champions League with her, Aydın'ı, Piccinini, and also yourself. How did that journey go? Like, do you remember anything specific about those times?
I think that year, it was just, overall, it was a pretty easy year, per se. We were definitely one of the favorites throughout the Italian League and Champions League. I think that year we didn't even lose a set, one single set, until maybe the quarterfinals or something of Champions League. And so we were pushed at times throughout the Italian League, but overall I think it was great just getting to be friends with Bartschy and hanging out and her baking cookies and her family being there and her dog. It was just, outside of volleyball, was really nice and comfortable, which you don't always get in every situation. And so that was just a very memorable year in terms of building that friendship and then leading that into the national team season that following year. And of course, winning the pinnacle of European sports, of European volleyball and Champions League in Berlin. So it was a great season. It was a fairly easy season per se in terms of, yes, we may not have won everything, but all of the challenges weren't as hard as per se some other years.
And speaking of Bartschy, like she's such a motherly figure,
Yeah.
and also like we talk with Vakıf players, we talk with Team USA players, everybody speaks so highly of her. So I have so much respect for her. I also met her personally, like not on an interview. So
yeah,
she's an incredible person.
Incredible person, incredibly nice, so welcoming. She will bake you anything you want in your entire life, and yeah, she's one of the best.
I hope she'll come back soon back to Turkey as well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of Turkish league, let's come back to Sultanlar Ligi. So there was a banner which says Carlini Airlines for you. Do you remember that? And what did you think about it? And did you miss Turkey overall?
Yeah, it was really sweet. And I remember in Ankara is where it started, if I believe. It's just really nice to have the support of the Turkish fans. I get a lot of comments on my Instagram as well in terms of just, oh, come back to Turkey, come back to Turkey. And when I finally signed, everyone was really happy to see me back. And so to feel that support from fans in a country who I adore so much, and I can really appreciate the people and the culture, yeah, it's one of the reasons why I love it, and I just appreciate it so much.
Okay, and then this morning I reached out to the guy who prepared the banner and who uses the handle Carlini Airlines on his
I didn't
Twitter.
even realize.
And I asked if he had any specific questions for you. And he said, how do you feel about the intensity of the fans and the attention of the fans in Turkey? Do you feel the crowd of the opposition teams such as like Fenerbahçe or Vakıfbank or Galatasaray or Eczacıbaşı, do you see them as a pressure or do you see them as a motivation to challenge you for the upcoming match?
Yeah,
and one more question, would you like to play for such team?
If I had more years overseas left in me, I would be interested in playing for other teams, but I don't think that's in the cards anymore, at least not for right now. Yeah, the fans in those types of like big pressure situations, I don't think I've ever been the player to be like, oh, and like shy away from those moments. I use that as motivation, and I know when we were playing even as Azabachi at home in Aydın, and we went 5 sets. The fans were starting to grow and get more loud as the game went on, and I used that as like, okay, let's go, let's do this. And then when we're at an away match, you know, we're in Burhan and we're playing, and Fenerbahçe's fans start chirping. It helps that I don't really know what they're saying, so that's good. It's just noise at that point. I like using that as motivation and as power. I don't let it shrink me.
And I had a question earlier, but as you also mentioned, you will be returning to USA to play, to continue professional career. How did you make this decision? Why did you decide to quit overseas?
My idea in my mind was to always do 2 Olympic cycles. And so that would be through 2024, 2020 and 2024. And then after that, kind of reevaluate and see where my life was. At this point, maybe a year ago, a new league for the United States came to me, and we started having conversations about the future and what this league would look like. It was really promising, and it was kind of perfect timing in terms of the timeline I had set for myself of the 8 years with national team and 2 Olympic cycles, as well as just kind of physically how my body has been feeling. And so to be able to play in front of your friends and your family and be home again, it's something that's been calling to me. It's true. I've had great experiences overseas, but I'm happy for girls who are Turkish and who are Italian who get to stay at home and just play in their countries. And now that we have the chance to also do that as Americans, I'm just glad to be a part of that, kind of from the ground level up. So that was ultimately my decision as to why I wanted to return home to the States and start playing.
So we talked about the professional leagues in the United States, and there are two of them as far as I know. So do you think they're going to come together like NBA and ABA did back in the days, or do you think they're going to go separately and try to succeed together?
So right now there's two currently, AU and PVF. LOVB is the one that I'm signed for. That's coming next year. Ultimately, there will be 3 leagues. I think maybe one of them would join with another league, but I don't think all 3 of them would ever join together. But I also don't think that there's going to be any type of, I guess, resistance for players moving from one league to the other after 1 or 2 years. I think it's whatever it takes to make professional volleyball successful in America. I think that's what we're going to try and do. If one league kind of has to, okay, we'll fall to the wayside and like let it happen to have another league be successful, I think it's going to be, of course, difficult in the moment, but after it will be the right decision just because we want it to be successful. I think we have the following, we have the youth development, we have the numbers and the viewership and the interest there. So fingers crossed that we're all doing the right things and we're on the right path.
I talked with Karch before and also Drews. Team USA gives lots of importance to mental stability and mental health overall. And how do you find the balance between this packed calendar, packed schedule, and this tough competition? Because Sultanlar Ligi is getting more and more competitive by every year.
It's hard. When you go from national team and you're playing in an Olympic qualifier, and then less than 1.5 weeks, maybe 2 weeks later, you're playing in another match, but with your Turkish team or with your Italian team, it is so hard to kind of flip that switch and get into it right away. The first couple weeks is about adjusting and mentally being like, all right, we're in this now for another 7 months. Like, let's settle in and let's get comfortable. And I think that's where I've adjusted pretty quick and I'm pretty happy about it. Also, just being in Turkey and having a good work-life balance. I don't feel like I'm going over the edge in terms of kind of that overcommitment right now. So yeah, it's been hard over the years for sure when you have 0 break and 0 time. I think that's one reason why I also decided to move forward with a league in the States, just because having summers free and having those couple months to decompress and take a step back from the game to really like love it again and really fully embrace it. I think I will appreciate that, and I know my body will too.
And I'd like to talk about the Northern American community and players playing in Turkey because we saw that Alexa Gray and others like Ali Franti and Vakıfbank's other Team USA players and Canadian players are meeting up and doing stuff together. Did you used to do them together with them, and are you going to meet them here since you're playing in an away game here?
Okay, it's awesome having so many foreigners in one place. And when I was in Istanbul before, there was I don't even know how many of us, there was a ton. And so we would always go out and we would always go do things, whether it's go watch each other's games or we would go to a cocktail bar, we would go to dinner, we would just go hang out. Me and my teammates, we would have like bachelorette nights and wine, and that would be our evening, and it was lovely. And so in that sense, you felt like you were at home because you were around so many foreigners and you didn't feel like you were just plunged into this foreign country and you don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to see any of them this time around, but we have a couple of days coming up at the end of the month. We'll all be staying and we're all hanging out, and it's been, it's so nice to have everyone around.
And okay, I have a final question for you. It's going to be a quite easy one. We know that you have an interest in Turkish food. What are your favorite restaurants to go to in Istanbul, or it can be in Aydın as well?
Okay, favorite restaurants. Ettim Efendi, of course. I like the old location. I think there's one new one in Göztepe. Anyways, the best one of all is, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting the name of it right now?
Is it a fish place or meat place?
No. Okay, there's another cocktail bar in Izmir that's very good. I think it's called Improvement. Oh, Townhouse, the best one of them all. Engin is the best server ever. I think he lives in Germany now, actually. We know way too much about their lives. What other one? Kalamish 39 is very nice. And there was always one coffee bar that I would go to in Cadde.
Cadde, Bağdat Caddesi, you mean?
Yes, it's like farther down. I'm trying to remember the name. I'll text you it, but it was really nice.
Starbucks?
So, when there's so many options, no. It was always just so great going in and seeing your same servers and then being like, hello, how are you? And then getting to know your places, and you would just become a regular. So yeah, Townhouse though, top of the top, the best. Çok güzel.
Finally, do you know any Turkish words that you use daily?
I know, merhaba, teşekkürler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 5, I get really confused. Something, yedi, something, on.
Yeah, fair enough. And you know the volleyball terms as well, right?
Not really, because Alper is like kind of half and half with the English and with the Turkish, so I get more English during practice. So yeah.
Okay, then to end the interview, can I say teşekkürler?
Teşekkürler.
Then we have a tiny gift for you.
Oh!
Let me do the honors for you. I think you'll enjoy it.
Is it from Beyaz Fırın?
No, but want to show it to the camera as well?
Delicious. This is one of my favorites. This is what I miss. And also when they put the ice cream in the middle, what is that called when they do, it's like, is it the cream or the ice cream?
They put ice cream in it in some places, or they put kaymak.
Yeah, and it's like nice and thick. I think there was one when we went to a first restaurant. So nice. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Teşekkürler.
Teşekkürler.